So Bernie Sanders unveiled a plan to eliminate all college debt. Now, this is interesting for a number of reasons. Elizabeth Warren released a somewhat similar plan maybe a month or so ago, and, people were fawning over that plan, rightfully so, because it's good. But Bernie decided, I'm going to one-up her. And that's what he did. So let me give you some of the specifics. This is from Vox. They say, Senator Bernie Sanders' proposal to make college free in the United States just got bigger. He wants to erase all student debt, too, all $1.6 trillion of it. The Vermont senator will unveil the most ambitious higher education plan in the Democratic 2020 presidential primary so far on Monday. It's today. The proposal would make 2- and 4-year public and tribal colleges and universities tuition-free and debt-free and erase the roughly $1.6 trillion in student loan debt currently owed in the U.S., paid for by a tax on Wall Street. Currently, about 45 million Americans have student loans. This would cancel debt for all of them, regardless of their income or assets. That's a notable difference from Senator Elizabeth Warren's free college proposal, which also provides broad debt relief, but caps it for households with incomes over $250,000. Sanders is proposing funding streams to states, tribes, and historically black colleges and universities to allow them to eliminate undergraduate tuition and fees. The bill would also increase spending on work-study programs and build up federal grant programs for low-income students for additional costs related to getting an education, from housing and transportation to buying books. That's awesome. Now, they go on to say the following. The proposal would cost $2.2 trillion over 10 years, which Sanders says would be paid for with his Wall Street tax. Sanders proposed a Wall Street speculation tax in 2016, which would raise small levies on buying and selling stocks, bonds, and derivatives. It's a proposal that many experts estimate could raise hundreds of billions of dollars annually. Sanders' office cited progressive economist Robert Pollin's projection that the tax would bring in $2.4 trillion in revenues over 10 years. So, that's for when they inevitably throw at you and throw at him, I gotta pay for it. 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 You pay for it. You pay for it. You pay for it. You pay for it. When they say that, you say, oh, okay, Wall Street transaction tax. Done. Raises enough money. We're good money. Let's move on. So there is an answer. I just want everybody to know that. Now, stop and think, do they ever say that when it came to, for example, the multi-trillion-dollar tax cut that the Republicans and Donald Trump just gave to corporations and the rich? Did anybody say, how are we going to pay for it? Is anybody screaming now, how are we going to pay for our 8 interventions that we're currently doing? We're on the brink of war with Iran. Has anybody said, well, hold on now. Not only did they not attack us, but how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? They never say that when it comes to stuff that they view as moral necessities. Now, the things that they view as moral necessities are not moral necessities, but it just goes to show you that the deficit scolds, it's more of a trick, it's more of a tactic than a genuinely held belief. But notice, they always trot that out when it's a program for regular people. In other words, they try to say, we can't do it because what are we going to do? We can't pay for it. But they never say it for, the things that are immoral and the things that are kind of baked into the cake of empire already. So this article from Vox, I'm going to leave it in the video description box, and you can take a look. They go into insane amounts of detail. I think that what Bernie and his team did is they anticipated all of the stupid, counter arguments, and they have an answer for everything. And I love that. Because I don't know if you guys remember, in 2016, he proposed, a free college bill. This goes further. This also eliminates all student loan debt. But some of the responses were, oh, it's a racist plan. what the fuck? Why is it racist? And they said, well, a lot of the historically black colleges and universities, they're private. And when you talk about free public college, well, what about the historically black colleges and universities? You're leaving them out. I guess that means you're racist. I'm not kidding. These are actual arguments that were made by people. Another point that they make is to try to stop the debt forgiveness. Oh, but what about the people who already paid? This isn't fair to them. I love Ken Klippenstein took to Twitter yesterday and he said, retweet this if, you've paid off your student loan debt, but you'd still want free college for everybody from here on out and debt forgiveness for the people who still have college debt. And of course, everybody was like, yeah, go for it. I'm not offended. I'm not pissed off. This is wonderful. This is what we should do. This is what should have been the case for a long, long time. So, this is the bread and butter stuff, guys. This is the stuff that wins elections. This is left economic populism. That's what this is. And basically what Bernie's trying to do, and you all know this, is he's trying to say, let's create a society where the bare minimums are taken care of because that's what virtually every other modern civilization has done. So we're going to take certain things off the table. And then after you have those things off the table, we have what's viewed as more of a fair race. And then you can go ahead and race. And I am a big proponent of that idea. And this is exactly what Bernie's plan does here. I mean, it really is a giant scandal that we have people in their 50s and their 60s still paying off student loan debt. In order to try to get ahead in life, you have to dig yourself into a giant hole. I mean, it's sort of a weird version of indentured servitude in a way. It's like, oh, you want to make it? Okay, well, first get massively in debt and then maybe not make it because there are no guarantees. And, take a shitty job that you don't want to take, but you need it because you're going to use that to help pay off the debt that you got into just because you wanted to further yourself and better yourself and create a career. It's a really backward system. The incentives are all fucked up. I mean, could you really blame somebody if they said, well, I don't even really want to go to college because I got to go massively in the hole to do that? It's kind of a reasonable reaction. So what if we did what other developed countries have done and we said, college is going to be free. And there's, a process, there's steps, this isn't like, you wave a magic wand and everything's taken care of. No, there are steps, but what if we did that? And what if we said, hey, eliminate the $1.6 trillion in student loan debt? That's what's called a debt jubilee. You have any idea the economic upsides of this? I mean, this really is going to be a shot of adrenaline into the ass of the economy because you have a lot of people who are kind of held back because of that debt. And maybe they can't lease a car. Maybe they can't, put a down payment on a house. Maybe they're stuck living in their parents' basement. In so many ways, the millennial generation specifically, they are kind of shackled to their student loan debt, and it's kind of like a failure to launch situation, but through no fault of their own, because the previous generations, they had a situation where college was much more affordable, higher education was much more affordable, and it also wasn't as necessary to really get a job. So there was a system that was more conducive to success back in the day, and now what Bernie's doing is he's trying to, honestly, what this is, selling the American dream. Now, they're going to their response is, of course, going to be nonsense. Venezuela, socialism, bad. And they're going to have nothing of substance to say. But the reality is, Bernie should take that mantle of, I'm the candidate of the American dream. I'm a big fan of stealing the framing that it is, sometimes the old school, corny-ass, cheesy, hokey framing, but it resonated at a time. I don't know, why wouldn't you say, I am the candidate of the American dream? That's what this is. And this goes above and beyond Elizabeth Warren's plan, which, again, is pretty much what you'd come to expect from Bernie, but to have him lay it out is just awesome. So, and it also puts other people in a position where, okay, you want to come out against it? Go ahead. It draws a line in the sand and says, this is one of the things that it means to actually be on the left. You want to disagree? By all means, go right ahead and disagree. Let me know how that works out for you. So it's forcing people to take sides, and you're going to have idiots like the breakfast cereal Hickenlooper and John Delaney and, mainstream media. They're going to fall on the side of the broken and grotesque and disgusting status quo. Just because things are the way they are right now doesn't mean that, you can smugly scoff at it and act like that's how it should be. That's not an argument. It's not an argument to say, well, it's like this now, so why would we do something like fix the problem? It's already like this, so it is what it is. That's how dumb people think. And that's how people who are culturally brainwashed think. They are shackled to the status quo, and they're unable to break free and view a positive future. So I love this plan from Bernie Sanders. Again, you could read all of the specifics. I'm going to leave the link in the video description box, and it really does go into excruciating detail. They really anticipated all of the counter arguments, and they have responses for absolutely everything. And, one of the things Bernie says, the example he uses is, well, we bailed out Wall Street and didn't ask any questions and had no strings attached. They could do whatever the fuck they want to do. They took that money and oftentimes they turned around and gave bonuses to the same people who bankrupted their respective companies. That's what they did. And nobody said, how are we going to pay for it? They said, oh my God, it's necessary because if we don't do it, the economy is totally fucked. Well, okay, you open the door and use that argument. So what's Bernie going to say? The exact same thing about student loan debt. Hey, we have to do this. It's a moral necessity. If we don't do it, sorry, but the economy will be totally fucked. So this is a bailout of the people, not of Wall Street. A bailout of the people. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of bailing out the military-industrial complex. I'm tired of bailing out Wall Street. I'm tired of giving $80 billion in quantitative easing to the big banks per year. I'm tired of giving $4 billion a year to ExxonMobil. They get bailouts all day long. We have corporate socialism in this country, aka corporatism. Well, what if we actually spent tax money, our money, on the people in a way that made sense? I said it before, I'll say it again. I would pay my taxes with a smile on my face if I knew when I was doing it, you know what this money's going towards? It's going towards healthcare. I'm going to treat kids with cancer with this check that I'm writing. I'm going to pay off somebody's student loan debt and give them a shot at a better future. I'm going to pay for somebody's free college. I'm going to pay for, somebody's guaranteed vacation time. If this is what the money was going for, I think we'd all enjoy paying taxes. You'd view it as a civic duty, but no, when your money goes towards endless wars and Wall Street bailouts, everybody's pissed when it comes time to pay their taxes. Because it's like, look at what the fuck you're spending it on. I'm contributing to a giant war machine and an empire, among many other things. So I love this move from Bernie. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great that he won up to Elizabeth Warren. Make no mistake about it, guys. There's one Bernie Sanders. You understand? There's one Bernie Sanders. So, don't be fooled by Diet Bernie Sanders, because it ain't the original.